Hey there, Pokemon trainers, Super Nerd Daniel here once again. Oh, inanimate object Pokemon, how you are so greatly despised. I don't think there's a subset of Pokemon more widely hated by Pokemon fans than those based on inanimate objects, and although I'm not the type to spit on the name of any Pokemon based on a thing rather than a creature, I can see where some people are coming from. A lot of folks tend to see it as a cop-out on the part of the designers, like they're phoning it in because they're just taking something and slapping a pair of eyes on it. Voltorb, a Pokeball with eyes. Pineco, a pine cone with eyes. Geodude, your pet rock from college with eyes. Execute, part of a balanced breakfast with eyes. Yeah, you get the idea. However, a lot of inanimate object Pokemon have proven to be pretty awesome when given a chance. I mean, everyone shat on Honedge because, lol, it's just a dumb sword Pokemon. And now Pokemon get wrecked by Aegislash 6th place from Sunday in competitive battles. So clearly Pokemon based on inanimate objects can do well despite people's expectations. And there are some objects that I think would make for a great Pokemon if Game Freak would put their creative minds to it. And so these are going to be the top 5 inanimate objects that I think would make a great Pokemon. Number 5. Bear Traps. Bear traps have always looked like pretty intimidating devices to me, and for good reason. The thing is designed, when triggered, to clamp down on the limb of a very large animal with its 2 sharp-toothed jaws, and unless that animal likes the thought of having one less foot, it's not getting out of that trap. I can just imagine having some kind of steel-type Pokemon that maybe isn't necessarily just a bear trap, but maybe has a small main body and some sort of bear trap protrusions, like maybe it has bear trap-like arms. That's also definitely a Pokemon I could see having moves and abilities that prevent escape, like maybe some gimmicky variation of Mean Look to keep Pokemon from escaping, make it physically offensive, and bam! Bear Trap Pokemon. Number 4. A Mattress. Pokemon has touched on the concept of dreams with a few different Pokemon in the past, namely the likes of Drowsy, Hypno, Cresselia, and Darkrai. They're all Pokemon who have something to do with dreams or nightmares. An object Pokemon I think would be pretty interesting along the same line would be a Pokemon based on a bed, but maybe like a haunted bed, so some kind of ghost-type mattress Pokemon that feeds on the dreams of Pokemon and people. Maybe it lures people there by looking like the most comfortable bed in the world, but then it traps you there with its arms and eats your dreams for sustenance. It's been a couple generations since we've had a Pokemon with malicious intent to mess with people's dreams, so if we were ever to go back to that concept, I think a possessed mattress Pokemon would be a pretty interesting concept to say the least, although it'd make me just a bit more wary of my own bed. Number 3. Batteries. I feel like batteries would make for an interesting electric-type Pokemon. Nothing too powerful, you know, maybe it has great speed and decent defenses, but not overly offensive. But it likely wouldn't need to be. Batteries are known for powering other devices, so maybe a battery Pokemon would be like a utility Pokemon of some sort, especially if you were to use it competitively. Like maybe it would have moves to boost your other Pokemon stats, or it could just be a speed boost baton passer like Ninjask or Scolipede. As for its forms, I feel like they could get away with a 3-stage evolution. Maybe it starts out as a little AAA battery, but then it evolves into a AA, and then the 3rd stage is branched, like maybe it could either be a C or a D depending on what method you use, and maybe its move pool and stats are affected by which form you choose, because C and D batteries power different kinds of devices. Plus, it'd be nice to run into something other than Voltorb, Electrode, or Magnemite in every obligatory power plant location. Number 2. A shield. Like I said before, Honedge was initially pretty criticized for being just a Pokemon based on a sword, but then Doublade and Aegislash ended up being pretty awesome. So if a Pokemon line based on swords could work, why not one based on a sword's natural counterpart, the shield?
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, shield.
No, not that shield, I meant an actual shield. Although my fanboy heart still burns for the Shield breakup in WWE. Obviously, a Shield-based Pokemon family would have to be fairly defensive, not offer a lot in the way of offensive capabilities, but that'd be the whole idea. It's a defensive wall. It's quite literally a sentient shield. Maybe a Shield Pokemon could prove to be a good utility Pokemon for someone's competitive team, setting up screens, setting up a wish for a teammate, stuff like that. You could probably even make some sort of big signature protection move for the 3rd stage in the family. Something that cuts all damage of any kind to your Pokemon in half for 5 turns. Something like a combination of Light Screen and Reflect in a single move. Obviously, something like that would have to be one of those moves that only has 5 power points, since it would be kind of OP, but it'd be a pretty cool exclusive move, don't you think? Number 1. The Nintendo Game Boy. You know, honestly, I'm shocked that there hasn't been some kind of Game Boy Pokemon yet. What with Game Freak's tendency to make sure every main series protagonist just happens to have the latest Nintendo console in their house, I think having some sort of Pokemon based on a Game Boy system would be pretty cool. A nice little nod to the system where Pokemon started out 2 decades ago. Would it be kind of weird, maybe a little bit too meta? Well, yeah, but then again, so is programming yourselves into your own games, Game Freak staff. Hell, if you don't want to make it an entirely new Pokemon, that's fine. Just make it a new Rotom form. Rotom GB, like Rotom Game Boy. I don't know, at least Game Boy Luke would be pretty happy about that. And those are my top 5 inanimate objects that I think would make great Pokemon. But what objects do you think could be a Pokemon? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe for more Pokemon countdowns like this in the future. See you next time, Pokemon trainers. Super Nerd Daniel, out!